Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you all something. Every now and then, football takes a backseat. And when tragedy strikes, when the community is hurting, when our people are suffering, that's when character is revealed. And what we've just witnessed out of Texas, that's character. That's family. That's unity. Now I want you to listen closely, because this here ain't about wins and losses on the gridiron. This is about life, about mothers and fathers searching for their babies, about families looking at a home that ain't a home no more, about a community soaked in pain and grief, searching for hope. And hope sometimes comes in the form of a check. Yes, money matters, but it also comes in the form of presence, in solidarity, in people stepping up. That's what Janice, Hannah, and Cal McNair of the Houston Texans just did. They pledged $500,000 to the Texas Hill Country communities wrecked by the recent floods. Didn't hesitate. Didn't flinch. That's $500,000 to support families, rescue missions, recovery efforts, and to simply say, we see you, we hear you, we're here for you. And guess what? The Dallas Cowboys matched it. The NFL Foundation matched it. That's $1.50 million in total. Let me repeat that, $1.5 million. And don't you dare tell me that ain't significant. Now, let's break this down. Central Texas, specifically the Texas Hill Country, was hit with a level of flooding that nobody saw coming. Whole neighborhoods underwater, bridges wiped out, schools closed, families displaced, and perhaps most heart-wrenching, children still missing. These ain't just statistics. These are stories, lives uprooted, dreams drowned. And in those desperate hours, when folks didn't know where to turn, help came not just from first responders or volunteers, but from unlikely places. From the world of football. Now some folks gonna say, it's just money. But let me ask you something. When your house is gone, your job is underwater, and your baby's missing, that donation ain't just a check. It's groceries, it's a hotel room, it's mental health support, it's rebuilding a life. That $5 million can stretch far in the hands of the right organizations, from the Red Cross to food banks to shelter programs. Every dollar means medicine for the elderly, toys for displaced kids, gas for rescue boats, and resources for recovery crews. Y'all know I've been in this league. I've seen its flaws. I've called them out when I needed to. But when the NFL gets it right, it can move mountains. It's a cultural powerhouse. So to see the league office come together with both the Cowboys and Texans to say, we are united in grief, and we are united in response. That's not just PR. That's policy. That's principle. The NFL ain't just a game. And when it's used like this, lives are changed. And I say that with my chest. Let me pull you all back to the McNairs. In their own words, we are heartbroken by the loss and damage that our neighbors in the Texas Hill Country have endured. Now, I know some folks out there be cynical about statements, but this one hit different. They mentioned the children. That ain't just sympathy. That's empathy. That's recognizing the most vulnerable among us. That's parental energy. That's humanity. That's humanity. And I want to make something clear. This wasn't a call for credit. They didn't post selfies at the donation center. They didn't send out glitter and press kits. They just moved quietly, swiftly, compassionately. That's what leadership looks like. For years now, the McNairs have been involved in community outreach. But this moment, this one, might be the most impactful yet. They knew that Houston, their home, has had its fair share of flooding tragedy. Hurricane Harvey is still fresh in Texans' minds. So when this tragedy struck just a few miles out west, they didn't wait for a headline. They became the headline. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. There's power in unity. A Houston-based ownership group joining forces with Dallas in anything is rare. You all know how them fan bases are. But when lives are on the line, even old rivals find common ground. Now you'll know I gotta talk about them Cowboys. Say what you want about Jerry Jones, but when it comes to Texas pride, that man never hesitates. Matching that donation was a statement. It's saying our legacy ain't just in trophies and touchdowns. It's in Texas soil. Jerry could have sat this one out, but he didn't. He linked arms with Cal McNair and said, let's go help our people. And that's powerful. Now let's talk about the NFL Foundation. This ain't just another bureaucratic entity. This is the philanthropic engine of the most watched league in America. When the foundation matched that $500, that sent a message to every other owner, player, and executive. You can and should make a difference when disaster hit. That kind of leadership at the league level sets the tone for future crises. It's not just about football anymore. It's about what you do with the platform that football gave you. Don't get it twisted. This $1.5 million? It's just the beginning. The Hill Country's gonna need months, maybe years to recover. Infrastructure's gotta be rebuilt. Trauma has to be addressed. Jobs need restoring. Families need reunification. But what this donation does is give folks a chance. A breath of hope, a second wind in the fight to come back from devastation. And here's what I hope, that others in the NFL and outside of it look at what the McNairs, the Cowboys, and the league just did and say, let's join them. Not compete, not one up, but join. We can't forget, this is about people, real stories, real pain. There are kids who watch their toys float away. Seniors whose homes are gone. Pet lovers who lost their furry family members. Businesses that may never reopen. But there's also resilience. The kind of Texas toughness that says, we ain't giving up. We're building again. And when that rebuilding starts with backing from NFL Titans, you best believe those bricks are going to hold strong. Football is more than just a game. It's a unifier, a mirror of society, and, when wielded with intention, a vehicle for real change. What the Texans, Cowboys, and the NFL Foundation did wasn't about headlines or highlights. It was about humanity. And in that moment, sports transcended the scoreboard. This donation isn't just impactful on its own. It sets a precedent. Now, other franchises across the NFL are watching. Will the Saints step up for Louisiana? Will the Falcons back Georgia communities in crisis? This could be the spark that lights a league-wide fire of compassion and action. Don't sleep on the fans. If every Texans or Cowboys fan donated just $1, imagine the millions that could be raised overnight. The ownership groups laid the foundation. Now it's time for the people to build the house. Because when fans feel included, the impact multiplies. Money matters, no doubt. But presence is priceless. Imagine C.J. Stroud visiting a flooded school. Picture Micah Parsons handing out supplies to families in shelters. That kind of visibility brings more than comfort. It brings hope. It shows that heroes don't just exist on Sundays. Here's the truth. Recovery doesn't happen in a day or even a week. Rebuilding homes, restoring schools, healing trauma. These things take years. So the NFL's commitment can't stop here. What matters now is long-term partnership, funding mental health, rebuilding infrastructure, investing in kids' futures. What the McNairs and Jerry Jones did here, that's leadership, and it's time to raise the bar. Every NFL owner has the resources. The question is, do they have the resolve? This $1, $50 million moment could be the blueprint for a new era of socially responsible ownership. I've played in snow. I've played in rain. I've played through pain. But what I've seen from the Texans, the Cowboys, and the NFL this week, that ain't just grit. That's grace. And most importantly, here's to every single person in the Texas Hill Country still fighting, still hoping, still hanging on. Help is here, and more's on the way. Because when the waters rise, so do we.